Hello, Liz. So glad you can join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve, for the invitation.
So let's begin, if you would, by simply introducing yourself and the USGBC.
Sure, I'm Liz Beardsley. I'm Senior Policy Counsel at the U.S. Green Building Council. We're a mission-based organization that's been around, celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. And we have a mission to change the way we design, build, and operate buildings and beyond to support communities, health, and life on the planet.
I confess I love the USGBC. And those of you in the cleaning industry probably recognize that we use LEED as a roadmap to green cleaning. So again, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. So with that, would you explain why sustainability is important to you personally and why it's important to the USGBC?
Yes. I think personally, my sustainability journey started as a kid, being exposed to nature, hiking, camping, getting, ocean and lakes and ponds. I grew up in Massachusetts and we're a pretty outdoors oriented family. And then when I went to college and, started kind of exploring what I want to do with my life, I took a class, a famous class actually at my college, by Professor Gil Masters on an intro to environmental engineering. And it just clicked, everything made sense that everything we do has a reaction and an impact. And if you're thoughtful and intentional and work together, we can reduce that impact and make it more sustainable. So that's the field I went into, ultimately bringing me here to USGBC. And, I think sustainability as a term gets used a lot of different ways, but ultimately it's how we can live with each other, live with the planet, try to support everything, continuing.
And how about the USGBC? What I know because I'm involved with a number of technical committees that climate change and these issues are very important. Can you just say a few words about USGBC's commitment to this issue?
Yeah, it's our core mission, and it's really, when I first came to the organization, I was so impressed by how really every employee, every person that we deal with shares this common mission, and works deeply to help each with our own different role to try to make the puzzle work and push our this mission and vision forward. I think sustainability, certainly climate change is the biggest threat that we have to the planet, to our quality of life. And it's getting a lot more attention. But along with that, we have other crises happening, with water resources being stretched in some areas, with continued pollution in different parts of the globe. And it really is all comes down to, again, like understanding what the impacts are of what we're doing, what we're creating, what we're using, um, and trying to find ways to support our needs, and but allow others to thrive as well, and without having that impact.
Thank you. So I know that you've been working hard on these issues, as has USGBC. Um, what trends are you seeing? Where do you think all of this is going? I know we're in a period where things are moving really quickly. So would you help identify some of those things that you feel is important for our listeners to really understand?
Absolutely. I think we have seen a jump ahead in terms of expectations and aspirations. And so that's things like net zero commitments, um, and and things like the biodiversity treaty that was agreed on last December. Um, what what I think the phase we're in right now is figure out, okay, how do we do this? Like, we don't have time to sit back and ponder. Like, we have lots of different tools available, technologies, proven solutions, but getting them kind of out there at scale, and in some cases like hopscotching technology or putting it together in a way that that can work economically. So I think it's a really uh, interesting and explosive time for policy and for practice, and we're just really seeing, I think that shared ambition that's just like jumped ahead.
Liz, thank you. So let me ask you, because I know you work on these issues extensively, what, in your opinion, are some suggestions that companies can do who are just getting started?
Yeah, I think the main thing, and we do actually talk to people from all different perspectives, particularly, my role working on policy. We're often educating policymakers and their staff who may not have a lot of experience, or they might not even know what the options are in a given situation. So you have to be able to talk and explain why things matter and how it can help meet goals that they have. So I think for a company getting started on sustainability, it's really like looking at their mission and sort of stepping back, looking from the outside. How can they support some of their goals? How could sustainability connect with some of their existing goals? So whether it's um, you know having a strong, talented, stable workforce is the issue for a lot of companies right now. Well, a lot of younger workers really want sustainability to be a priority for the company they work for. That's um, proving to be really important. So that's a way to make those connections. I think looking at, obviously a company has a profit motive. So looking at ways that reducing certain supply chain issues can actually help both advance sustainability, maybe reducing waste or reducing certain kinds of waste that are more problematic, and favoring more natural products, more local products, more readily available products. Those are like some of the ways that these things can fit together. So I think stepping outside and kind of taking a time to do sort of a survey of what all these different activities are that relate to sustainability and to goals, and then that can set a good framework for what their next steps might be.
Liz, a specific question for this audience is, do you have any thoughts specific to helping people in the cleaning industry?
Uh, Thanks, Steve. Yeah, that's a great question. Cleaning companies are critically important, and I think we all appreciate them that much more now than maybe we did 5 years ago. Um, and we're, of course, a strong proponent at USGBC of green cleaning. So that would be, of course, an obvious recommendation. But beyond that, I think there's a couple categories that cleaning companies might want to look at for sustainability. First, their employees and employee welfare. So looking at the products that are being used, the training, the hours, and some of those kind of factors, and sort of looking at that holistically, getting feedback and input from employees and some subcontractors, if that's something that your company has as well, to see kind of their overall well-being and how what that relationship is, and kind of how that can be supported, their health and wellness long term. Secondly, supply chains for cleaning products and even other types of supplies, and where it's coming from, what's going in it, is it reliable, some of those sort of factors. And then the other end, the waste management, because cleaners may be also removing things, removing waste, and having to make decisions about where it goes, if it's recycling or landfill or other options. So sort of there's that role as well that may come into play. So those are just a couple topics, but I think there's a lot of opportunity for cleaning companies to continue to play their critical role in society and to continue sort of continuous improvement kind of model of looking at how they deliver their services and how they can do that in a way that supports all of the stakeholders involved.
Last question for you. And this is just kind of open. Any additional thoughts and comments that you'd like to share today with the audience?
I think this summer really has, I was just reading today that scientists think July is the hottest on record. And it's really quite sobering. I think particularly thinking about those who have less resources and in different areas of the world. So, I think if there's a time to act, even if you haven't done anything so far, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and your energy use and try to work towards that sustainability goal, just start, there's no, just wherever you are, do a little bit more. I guess that's what I would ask.
Liz, thank you so much for spending some time with us. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.